Hi students, and welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian, and I'm streaming to you from beautiful Victoria here in Western Canada. I hope that all of you are having an awesome weekend so far. Welcome everybody. In this class, we are looking at IELTS Speaking Part 3. And we're going to be talking about visiting cities. We just finished the IELTS Speaking Part 2 class half an hour ago. It was a cue card question asking about a city you would like to visit for a few days. I gave the example of visiting Vancouver, and we had a couple of volunteers. One of them spoke about visiting Edinburgh in Scotland, and the other about visiting Nice in France. Now, the reason I mention that is because for Speaking Part 3, it's very important to keep in mind what you thought about for Speaking Part 2. Your ideas, your speech for Speaking Part 2 is very useful for Speaking Part 3 answers. They are connected. The examiner says, that is the end of Speaking Part 2. We will now continue with Part 3. For this part, I will ask you questions related to your response and connected to the topic of Part 2. So they very overtly, clearly tell you that they are going to ask you questions that are relevant to Part 2. So keep that in mind. Students, this lesson is presented to you by aehelp.com for academic IELTS success. Visit us there. For the general IELTS, visit us at gieltshelp.com. These are the websites that power these live classes. We use them all the time. If you are taking part in these classes regularly, I highly recommend visiting aehelp.com, this website here, clicking on the big red button. That's just situated right above my head there, and making that one small payment so you get lifetime access to all of our practice exams, practice materials, and much, much more. You'll have a My Student account where you will have computer-based practice exams, a full interactive course, study plans, workbooks, lesson videos, more than 100 of them, and of course the feature that we will use in today's class as well, the student partner speaking. So we're going to use this feature today. You can sign up for a free demo version or free trial version of the website as well, okay, by clicking on the green button. For the general IELTS, it's gieltshelp.com. It's the green background. You can click that big red button there. To learn for the general IELTS exam. And again, we are an IDP affiliate. We're a British Council partner. We're an IELTS test registration center. We are world leaders when it comes to IELTS. Join us now. Use the code DRIVE9 to get that extra 10% discount. That discount code is coming from our most recent video release. I'll show you that in a minute. The apps are Academic IELTS Help in your app store or General IELTS Help. These apps will link to the websites, everybody. KYC10 is asking, why is my IELTS results not published yet? KYC, if it has been more than a week and you don't see your results, there could be a few different reasons. One of the common reasons is they have to do an investigation of the exam because maybe somebody leaked the questions or there was some other situation or issue with the security or the information around the exam. So in that case, they take up to 4 weeks to investigate what happened, but you will have your scores, KYC. Good question. All right. Students, blogs. Yes, check out this Speaking Part 3 blog when you have a chance. It's a good one. I just put it into the chat. We've got lots and lots of blogs that give you Band 9 sample answers for Speaking Part 3, and you can visit us on Instagram, IELTS_AEHelp, GIELTSHelp. Instagram has lots of vocabulary videos, tips, strategies for the IELTS for you. And if you have questions, just send me an email. My email is adrian@aehelp.com or admin@aehelp.com. Now, schedules. We've got speaking part 3 right now, and then we'll have a few days to focus on our studies, look at some videos on the YouTube channel, and I will be back with more live classes on the 14th, starting with speaking part 1, and then reading task 1, speaking part 2, speaking part 3. Subscribe to the YouTube channel and you will get notifications of these live classes and new releases. That's free, it's easy, and it's very effective. Okay, here's a new video we just released last night. We want it to be more popular than it is, so check it out. It's a good video. It's with real Band 9 Uzbek student who scores overall Band 9. Very good, so check it out. Okay, speaking part 3. So students, in this session, our goal is to go over speaking part 3 questions, learn strategies, learn vocabulary, and give lots of chances for people to practice and learn from each other. So those are the learning goals for this class, okay? Importantly, make sure to speak and repeat. Copy what I say. Copy how I say it. Okay. All right. Very important. So again, IELTS speaking part 3. This is where the examiner might say, that is the end of part 1. We will now, or sorry, that is the end of part 2. Now we will continue with part 3. For this part, I will ask you questions related to the topic of part 2 and related to your response. Let's talk about visiting towns and cities. Okay. How do people choose which cities they would like to visit? Now focus on that first question. This is the follow-up question. The examiner will only ask you the second question after you answered the first question. So how do people choose which cities they would like to visit? Okay, think about that. Now think about the big ideas, right? And if you're not sure right away, you can start by saying, that's a good question. Allow me a moment to think. And you can take up to like 3-4 seconds here. The main factors that contribute to the cities people would like to check out. Check out means visit, be a tourist. It's kind of colloquial. It's okay to use everyday colloquial real language like check out, okay? And then think about what those factors are, right? Think about the factors that are relevant, right? To check out are, of course, the attractions, sites, historical monuments and landmarks, and of course, people's budgets. Some cities like Vancouver and New York are very expensive, while other cities like Budapest are a bit cheaper, are more affordable, let's say that. Okay, so that would be like your Band 9 level answer. All right. Now, it's not just me, it's also you, so please give me answers, all right? Here we go, everybody. Speak and repeat. How do people choose which cities they would like to visit? You should be repeating here. You should be repeating questions and answers. How do people choose which cities they would like to visit? That's a good question. Allow me a moment to think. The main factors that contribute to the cities people would like to check out are, of course, the attractions, sites, historical monuments, and landmarks, and of course, people's budgets. Some cities like Vancouver and New York are very expensive, while other cities like Budapest are more affordable. Okay, that would be your Band 9 level answer. Juan says, some of the reasons why people go visit a city are interests and hobbies because they want to engage in activities related to them. I want to visit Bariloche next winter because I want to ski. Sure, that's really good. I like that answer. That could be a Band 9. Absolutely. Absolutely. Anna says, well, first of all, human beings need to think about part of the world they would like to visit because geography plays a huge role in people preferences. And secondly, individuals need to Google. Okay, Anna, we're not being asked what people need to do. This is quite an awkward answer. This would only get you about a Band 5 at this kind of stage. Be natural. It's usually unnatural to call people humans, right? Unless we're being very scientific. So first of all, not human beings. Okay, it's a bit awkward. Human beings is very scientific. We don't use that in conversation all that often. So people, okay, are individuals. So first of all, people need to think about the part of the world they would like to visit because geography plays a huge role in people's preferences. And here, Anna, it's like, what do you mean? Right? So, okay, it plays a big role in people's preferences, but you have to clearly spell that out, right? So some tourists like going to warmer places such as Cairo, while others prefer colder climates like Copenhagen. Okay. So a little bit more there, all right? What do you mean by geography, right? It could mean warm and cold. It could mean far or close. It could mean that you need to get on a plane. Some people are scared of flying, right? So there are a lot of definitions there that could come into play. So Anna, look at it now. It reads much better. Well, first of all, people need to think about the part of the world they would like to visit because geography plays a huge role in people's preferences. Some tourists like going to warmer places such as Cairo, while others prefer colder climates like Copenhagen. Okay. And secondly, people need to Google. What do they need to Google? And secondly, individuals are also influenced by feedback from others. I mean, they visit places that are highly acclaimed by tourists, such as Prague. Okay? I think that's what you need, or that's what you want to say, Anna. And now it's a Band 9. Okay? All right. Okay, I like it. Madoop has this answer for us. Madoop says, well, I think connection to one's roots might determine where to tour. A Spanish speaker may love to visit a Spanish-speaking country where they feel at home, such as a tourist from Buenos Aires may prefer to visit Barcelona. Okay, be specific, students. Give details. Okay, so express yourselves. Not only language, but culture may have a big impact in this decision. Absolutely. Okay. All right. Good. Now let's take a look at, so you notice what I'm doing, right? I'm taking some examples from the chat from some of our viewers. I'm putting it into our class notes, and then I'm changing it from a lower to a higher band score by adjusting some of the grammar, the language, and of course giving details where necessary. So that's what you're paying attention to here, everybody. And of course, you are hopefully writing down words, expressions, and repeating. Everybody got that? That's the goal. For those of you who are focused and really maximizing learning English in this class, that's what we're doing here, right? So we're taking those answers. Habibe Domenico says, yes, I got it. Okay, so I'm taking some of your answers. Don't just wait for me to find your answer, right? Everybody learn from each other. Okay, Angel says, I got it. All right, Rupinder, please do not use there are a plethora of reasons behind it. Your score is going to go, okay, it's template and it's awkward. Okay. All right. So careful, Rupinder, no templates. Okay. All right, so what factors play into this decision? All right, well, if you have already answered that, then expand on this, okay? So if I said that the sights, the sounds, the monuments, and people's budget, then I might also add some more. So various factors such as the local language, culture, and time of the year may play a crucial factor in deciding when and where to go for a visit. Ideally, a tourist visits Vancouver either in the summer when the weather is dry and warm, or if they are alpine enthusiasts, in the winter when the world-class ski resorts are open. Notice how I keep reflecting to my part 2 answer. So I talked about Vancouver. I know a lot about Vancouver, so I can give a lot of connection, okay? In IELTS Speaking Part 3, this is just a really quick important tip here, okay? The IELTS examiner is listening for conversation style communication. For Band 8 and Band 9 candidates, the examiner is listening for conversation, I should say, conversation style answers whereby the content is linked. Not just by linking words, but by content, by information. Okay, so if you spoke about Nice in part 2 in France, or if you spoke about Edinburgh, Scotland in part 2, you want to make connections. Like we could say that Edinburgh is great to visit during the drier months of the year, as it can get a lot of rainfall, which can make it feel quite gloomy, right? So we make those connections. Everybody's clear? Okay. All right. Shinhye Park. Shinhye says, Most of individuals, Xinhe, keep it simple. Most individuals, not most of the individual. It's plural. Individuals are countable, Xinhe. Most individuals prepared to go in relaxing place. Most individuals prefer to go to relaxing places. Quite a few grammatical errors there, Xinhe, so be really careful, okay? Most individuals prefer to go to relaxing places. Tourist attractions in my country include, what's your country? I'm guessing Korea. In South Korea. Could be wrong though, but I'm guessing here based on your name. So tourist attractions in South Korea include museums and watching an orchestra. Don't change to your. We never want to use your because suddenly you're talking to me and I'm nowhere near Korea. However, if a tourist or if a visitor does not like going out on the town, then Seoul, Korea may be too much. Okay, so here, Xinhe, you can see that I had to basically rewrite 80% of your response, which means I can understand it. So notice that I have a pretty good idea of what you're trying to say, or at least I think I do. But there are a lot of mistakes, and it is quite confusing. So your original response would be about a band 4. Okay, with the corrections, we can now push it to about a band 8. Okay, all right. And if you're not from South Korea, you can correct me, Xinhe. Okay, all right. Let's do this. Let's do one more question here, and then we'll get into some practice with strategies and tips, okay? So here we go, everybody. Try this one. What are some advantages and disadvantages of living in big cities compared to smaller towns? Okay. Chayani says, usually the factors come from language, weather, time, distance, and budget. Yeah, Chayani, just be careful not to list too many. So when you have a lot of good ideas in your speaking candidates, give 2-3 ideas. And instead of giving 5 or 6 or 7, give a little bit of explanation. Okay, 2-3 good ideas with detailed explanations and examples will get you a better band score than giving 8 different answers and then looking at the examiner like, they'll be like, can you elaborate? Right? That's the question they give you. They'll say, why? Or can you elaborate? Or they might say, can you give more details? If you're hearing the examiner say that, can you elaborate? Can you give more details? Then you really need to think, okay, I need to explain myself a bit better here. That's what they're looking for. Okay? Chayani says, got it. Okay? Chayani, I do see your example. Chayani does say, most individuals in Indonesia are likely to travel to Bali as it is reasonable, close, and just has a 1 to 2 hour difference in time. Right? So it's good, Chani. Right? Okay. Fuang has this answer for us for the current question, because that last answer Chani gave us was for the previous. So Fuang says, For advantages, living in metropolitan areas, people can not only access modern amenities like a diversity of public transportation, but also they can potentially earn high salaries from many job opportunities that the rural countryside cannot afford. For the latter, disadvantages, a higher cost of living, and poor mental health, like being stressed by working 9 to 8 a.m., can be significant drawbacks. You have to finish that sentence, Fuang. Okay, so a few corrections there, Fuang. As is written, it's about a band 6.5 to 7. With the corrections, it's an 8 to 8.5. Okay. When you have a word like advantages, try to paraphrase that right away. I'm sure many IELTS candidates know a few different ways to say advantages. So I would start this, instead of saying for advantages, Fuang, I would say the benefits. Okay, it's a simple, quick paraphrase, definitely will work for a better score. Okay, the benefits of living in metropolitan areas include people can both access modern amenities like a diversity of public transportation, and they can potentially earn high salaries from good job opportunities. Okay. All right, Saloni has this answer for us. The main profit of living in big urban areas, known as being able to access amenities such as quality education and better health centers. Another one includes good salary package and value of higher education. How about the disadvantages, Saloni? You have to have those in there as well. Okay, you have to answer both. Let's fix this up a little bit. Profit is money. We sometimes use it in transient way, but usually it's to do with money, so I don't recommend playing with the word. Instead of profit, benefit, or the plus side. If you want to use a nice expression where the examiner's like, ooh, that's good, the plus side of living. Okay, so plus side can be like an advantage. And then you're playing with the words a little bit and picking up some vocabulary scores. So the plus side of living in big urban areas, known as being able to access, are commonly regarded as, no comma there, being able to access numerous amenities such as quality education and better health centers. Another one includes the potential for a good salary. We don't need the word package. And the value of higher education. You already said quality education, so don't repeat yourself. Okay. The downsides, if we say the plus side, often the opposite will be the downside. May be a more stressful life, and low air quality. I know that Mexico City has quite a bit of air pollution, and it is really harmful for health. Okay, so there you go. So plus side, downside. Now another way to say plus side could be, what's the exact opposite of downside? So if I don't want to say the plus side, I could say what instead? Let's see, anybody knows what I'm thinking? What's the exact opposite of downside? It's another way to say advantage. No, I'm not thinking of the negative. That's right, Juan. Juan says it's the upside. Of course it is, right? It's the upside. So you could say the upside of living in a big urban area. All right. Okay. Merits, demerits. I think, again, that got really popular on the internet, like merits and demerits, but it's not natural. So be careful. Some vocabulary we don't use in spoken language so much. Merits and demerits, it's okay. Merits we use sometimes, seldomly. Demerits, almost never, rarely. Okay. Demerits is a very uncommon word in everyday language. All right. Crixivian, meritorious aspect, very rare to ever use that in language. Okay. So very rare. Again, students, be really careful about the weird advice that you see on the internet. So this is just a tip. Be careful and check the validity of words and advice from the internet. I just created a quickie where I talk about 5 really bad tips that people give on the internet for IELTS test takers, but just for students in general. So be very careful and check the validity of words and advice from the internet. Now, I speak a kind of a Canadian West Coast English, but I have traveled the world. I have heard quite a bit of British, Aussie, Irish, Kiwi, American English from different regions. So I'm fairly familiar with the common ways to express ourselves on a daily basis. Okay, Indian English as well. We don't tend to use words like merit and demerit in spoken English. Words like plethora or plethora or merits or meritorious are rare and awkward. Okay, if you use that when you're visiting an English-speaking country, they're kind of look at you and be like, "Is there a reason you use that word?" So be careful. Okay, somebody like thought, "Hey, this video is gonna go viral if I use this word." Yeah, just because a video is viral doesn't mean it's accurate, right? Plethora, merits, meritorious are not common. And they're awkward to the native ear, okay? All right, keep that in mind. Okay, everybody got that? That's important. And if you're angry at me, if you're like, Adrian, but ask another English speaker. Say, hey, if I say there are a plethora of merits to living in a big city, is that going to sound natural? And I bet you most people will look at you and go, I get you, but me. They might be polite and say, kinda, but not really. Look at their facial expression. Okay. All right. There's a lot of really weird advice out there. I think one of the reasons this happens is some like YouTube creators or influencers. Think about it this way. When a creator or influencer finds a word they think is unfamiliar, they figure it will get a lot of attention, so they pretend like it's a great word to know. But guess what? It's also an unfamiliar, weird word for a lot of native English speakers. So it's probably unfamiliar. You probably never learned it or saw it because other English speakers don't use it. You don't hear it in the movies. Like, how many times have you watched a movie and somebody goes, well, the demerit of that strategy is that the enemy will destroy our village. I've never seen that word come up in the subtitles. I'll let you know. All right. Anyway, students, so just be careful, okay? For the IELTS to get a good score, you need to use the words you know well, okay? Don't try to get fancy unnecessarily, all right? Okay, so let's jump into some volunteering. Let's get you speaking, everybody. This is how you get into it, okay? This is how you speak. You go to aehelp.com, the website. That's where we have our chat interface, and very soon we will have live classes there as well. You can buy our premium course through Shopify on YouTube as well. And you can also access through the website, of course, aehelp.com, by clicking the big red button that's just above my head. You can try it for free by clicking the green button that is also just above my head. All good things above my head. General IELTS students, gieltshelp.com, green background. Same idea. Now, when you're in the My Student account, it's responsive, it'll resize, it'll work on your mobile phone, although you can use the app as well, Academic IELTS Help app. Link it to the website under More. You've got your computer-based practice exams, audio CDs, lesson videos, tons more. We are using the Student Partner Speaking right there. Okay, click on that. Except that you are going to be polite and respectful with each other, please, always. Okay, keep in mind the goal. You're in an IELTS class. And then you'll see a really nice long list of students. Pay special attention to the premium student badges here. I strongly encourage premium students to connect with each other because you're obviously studying, you're investing your time, your money into learning good English for the IELTS exam. So connect with each other and say, hey, do you have 20 minutes every 2 days to just go over some questions? By the way, students, there are IELTS questions right here in the actual page. So you can click on those, and then you've got your questions, and you've got multiple pages for each type of topic. Okay, they're based on the part 2 category, so pay attention to that. Okay, all right. So I'm in here too. Some of you probably found me already. I'm in here as master. Easy to see, easy to identify, all big letters. Okay. And you can click on the blue envelope next to my handle. David, pros and cons, totally okay to use, even though it's colloquial, it's informal English. On the IELTS Speaking, you should be using a mix of formal, informal, and that's generally the type of modern English that we use for presentations. A controlled combination of formal and informal. So we want to make the audience or the listener feel comfortable and welcome. And we also want to make them feel like we are professional and we know what we're talking about. So just like what I'm doing in these classes, did many of you notice that I really carefully combine a lot of colloquial English, everyday English, and professional English, right? So I'm making sure that you recognize that I know what I'm talking about. I have a university degree and I have fairly good English. But at the same time, I want you to feel like you're having a good time and you're welcome and you're focusing, right? Hopefully you've noticed that. Okay, that's the idea. That's what you want to replicate. All right, so we've got people in here. We've got people volunteering. It's really nice to see lots of volunteers. Let's give Shruti a chance. Shruti, are you ready? Okay. Shruti, if you're there, let us know. And then we'll just jump right into these part 3 questions. We'll have lots of volunteers this class. We've got a good amount of time. We've got like 50 minutes to go here. So lots and lots of time and lots of chances to learn from each other. Let's do it. Shruti. Hi, Shruti.
Hi, Adrian. How are you?
I am great. Thanks, Shruti. How are you doing?
I'm also doing great.
Good. Shruti,
Thank you for asking.
Of course. Shruti, could you tell everybody where you are and why you're taking the IELTS exam?
Yes, I'm calling from Kerala, which is a southern state in India. And I'm planning to pursue my master's in Canada. That's why I'm taking the IELTS.
Yeah. Anytime you say that, Shruti, always include what your master's is because it's so natural for people to be curious about that. So you should say, I'm looking to pursue my master's in in Canada at the University of, because those are the two natural factors that people are really curious about is what is your master's in and where are you planning to go? That really gives a much better response. So can you tell us what your master's is and where you want to go?
Yes, I'm planning to do a master's in public health at University of British Columbia.
Nice. Yeah, that's a great university in Vancouver.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, big university. It's 40,000 plus students there. Extremely good health department,
Yeah.
worldwide recognized. So good for you. Okay.
I just hope that I get into the program.
Yeah, it's you definitely want to get as good a IELTS scores as possible for UBC. It's called University of British Columbia. We just say UBC.
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
UBC, you want to get some really good scores. It's very competitive for sure. It's a very competitive university.
Yeah, I understand.
All right, well, Shruti, let me help you. I'm
Yep.
here to help you with that. Let's do this. So, IELTS Speaking Part 3, let's talk about visiting towns and cities. How do people choose which cities they would like to visit?
I think people choose cities based on the time when they want to travel. I believe that it is an important factor when making a decision because when I wanted to visit Dubai, I didn't choose July as it will be very hot summer in those days. But instead, I chose to visit Dubai during October, which has a pleasant and soothing climate.
What factors play into this decision?
Um, I believe that according to my health conditions, I can't bear the heat and the warm weather. So, taking that into consideration, I chose to visit a more pleasant climate in Dubai.
What are some advantages and disadvantages of living in big cities compared to smaller towns?
Okay. S- uh, the The upside of living in a big cities are the accessibility to modern amenities like top-notch healthcare systems and high-quality education. But I believe that living in cities also come with its own drawbacks, especially the air pollution, which is much more in the cities compared to the rural areas due to overdevelopment and industrialization. There has been a lot of air pollution, as in air and noise, as well as light pollution, which makes it difficult to live in cities. Additionally, cities also will be having a busy and hectic lifestyle, which can affect the mental health of some people.
Okay, I'm going to stop there
Yep.
um, and give you some feedback.
Yep.
Okay. That's really good. Okay, so those are some really good answers. I think you will do fantastic on your IELTS exam.
Yeah.
The one advice that's really important here, don't overspeak, okay? That last answer,
Yeah.
the one you just gave me, it was a band 9 until the
Yeah.
last two sentences. The last two sentences actually changed it from a band 9 to a band 8. So
Okay.
when you give a band 9 answer, you don't want to change it to a band 8 level by overspeaking and making some strange mistakes, okay? So
Okay.
don't overspeak, okay?
Sure.
Let me just reflect on both of your answers here.
Yeah.
So
I was in fact nervous in the first question, so
you did really
I
well.
think I didn't.
No.
Okay.
You did really well. And in fact, that's enough. So the amount of information that you gave me in the first answer, that was enough. The second one,
Okay.
you gave me too much information. So limit yourself a little bit. Okay. Firstly,
Okay.
you said, I think, and you use some natural fillers like, okay, those are absolutely okay. Again, one really weird bad tip or information online that you people will see in videos is teachers saying like, don't use natural fillers, like don't say and
Hmm.
not quite. Natural fillers are very important in communication. They help us to think, they help us to connect ideas and create more fluency when they are used correctly. So it's not about not using them, it's about using them correctly. Don't overuse them, and don't use them
Hmm.
to try to think of vocabulary or grammar. In your
Hmm.
situation, I could very easily tell that you were using these natural fillers like and to think and connect. Okay, the examiner
Hmm.
knows that. The examiner knows when a student is using and because they don't know how to speak versus they don't know what to say. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So if you're using some natural fillers to think about what you want to say, it is a good idea. If you're using natural fillers because you don't know how to say it, then it's a problem. But then there's not much that you can do, right? It's better than just looking at the teacher and like, oh, or the examiner and not saying anything. Okay, Shruti, so that was really good. The follow-up question here was really tricky. What factors play into this
Yeah.
decision? And you're kind of like, what is he asking me? I loved your answer. I thought it was very clever. You stopped and you thought about it, and then you're like, well, okay, you made this decision because you don't do very well in hot weather. So you said, I believe that according to my health conditions, I can't bear the warm weather. Now, here's where you want a little bit of explanation. Your idea was really good.
Yeah.
What do you mean about your health condition? So just in a simple way, you don't have to tell us, private health information, but in a simple way, what kind of a health condition do you have that, or what kind of a physical condition do you have that doesn't really encourage you to go travel to extremely hot places?
No, in fact, I just made it up. I don't have any health conditions like that. I just made it
That's
like that.
that's totally fine, but you can make up the reason too. So can you make up the
Um,
reason and keep it simple? Keep it really simple. So I feel
yeah,
that
like
when
I'll
I
be dehydrated or
yeah, I get dehydrated easily. So I feel
yeah,
that I get dehydrated. Very nice. And notice how that vocabulary, dehydrated, lovely, awesome vocabulary. I love hearing vocabulary like that.
yeah.
What I mean is the examiner loves hearing vocabulary. I feel that I get
Okay.
dehydrated. Can you explain it to everybody what that means?
Getting dehydrated means losing water molecules in your body, and which leads to fainting.
Yeah, there you go. Right? So you can say, I feel that I get dehydrated very quickly and then I don't have energy and I feel sick. Right? Okay.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
very nice. So always think about explaining, and it's okay to make up information. Just keep making it up and keep it simple. Always explain it. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
I just want to ask you something. Like
Mhm.
you interrupted me in the middle of the first question, right? Like I completed the answer, and you asked me, what are the factors? So is it like natural to have these kinds of questions?
Yes. Definitely.
Okay.
So, and your question is a very good one, Shruti, because of your level. So, you're definitely a Band 8, Band 9 level English user. Okay, so
Okay.
I'm sure that your score will be between Band 8 and a Band 9. You might get an 8, 8.5, maybe a 9. Okay.
Okay.
Definitely for UBC, your supervisor will want to see an IELTS speaking score between 8 and 9. So you're on the right path.
Yes.
In the IELTS exam, okay, and this is important, everybody, in the IELTS exam, when you have good English, especially in part 3, the examiner will ask you more and more challenging questions and stranger questions. Like I get sometimes students send me an email and they're like, my examiner asked a really weird question in part 3. Is that normal? And I always respond by, that's a good sign. That probably means you got a really good score, and they're testing to see how you react to an unexpected or a very strange question. Okay, because they're testing at
Yeah,
8, 9. Yeah, so if you hear some weird questions in part 3, that's usually a good sign. That means that they're marking you quite high, and they just want to check, like, how can you handle an unusual question.
difficult
Okay?
situation. Yeah, yeah. In fact, I panicked when you asked the question, and I was like, okay, why can't I withstand the hot weather? Yeah,
Yeah. But you still answered me correctly. You didn't freeze up. You didn't forget what you wanted to say. And that's exactly what the
yeah.
examiner's looking for. Okay. So good
Okay,
question.
okay. Yeah,
All right. Thank you for volunteering. And thank you for those great answers, Shruti. Have a great rest of the day.
yeah. In fact, I'm having my exams on 14th, so wish
Oh,
me luck.
good luck on
Yeah,
your exam. When you're done your exam, please come back and share with us. Let us know
yeah.
how it went and what happened. Okay.
Sure,
All right.
sure, sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Bye, Shruti.
Have a great day. Bye. Bye.
All right. That was Shruti. Really good. Let's give her a thumbs up. That was awesome. Okay. All right. I would. Oh, we've got lots of volunteers coming from who we haven't seen in a while yet as well. Okay, that's great. Let's give Juan a chance here. He's been very adamant, and I haven't given him recognition. So, Juan, are you ready in the last 4 or 5 classes? So, Juan, I appreciate you hanging in there and continuously volunteering. That's really good. Hi, Juan.
How are you?
I am doing fantastic. All right. Juan, I'm going to ask you a few questions for part 3.
Okay,
Are you ready?
I am ready.
Okay. Juan, what I want you to focus on, knowing your style of English and diction, I want you to focus on not speaking too quickly, but focusing more on just methodical answers. Okay?
Okay.
All right, let's talk a little bit about cities tourism. How has tourism impacted cities around the world, both positively and negatively?
Tourism can represent a very great income for a lot of cities. I think it can really activate a city's economy. Um, I know a lot of people that's just by selling souvenirs can make a decent living. Also, people can learn about other cultures. When it comes to the negative aspects, uh, crime can be a uh, very big deal because tourists often are the target for crime and robbery, and also can be the detriment of historic places. I remember a couple of years ago, the government of Peru had to close the Machu Picchu because there were too many tourists and they were damaging the historic places. Yeah, and edifications.
In what ways can a city's culture and history attract tourists?
This can be done by maintaining historic places and also objects like monuments, statues, and yeah, all kind of things related to ancient history. And also apps like on TV can be a great way to attract tourists. I see all the time when I'm watching the Nat Geo channel, I see all the time ads about visiting Egypt and the pyramids.
Okay, good. I'm going to give you some feedback. Nice. Okay, so you took my advice, Juan. That was really good. So you slowed down a bit, and you were more methodical. That was really good. So your fluency still a band 9. Okay, you don't have to speak faster. So your fluency was great, and your content was definitely better. I'm sure a lot of our regular students who have heard you speak before will agree with me when I say that that was really good content. I don't hear you loudly. I'm not sure if you're further from your microphone, but I don't hear you as loud and clear as I do sometimes, which is okay, even though it was really good content. So I asked you about how tourism impacts cities around the world positively, negatively. You said tourism can represent a very great income in cities. Okay, that was a little bit awkward the way you phrased that. So just simplify. So tourism can represent a large portion of cities' revenue. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
can you just repeat that after me? Tourism can represent a large portion of a city's revenue.
Tourism can represent a large portion of a city's revenue.
Yep, plural, singular, just choose one, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I had a little bit of difficulty hearing exactly what you said after. Overall, for sure, your band score is somewhere in the 7.5 to 8 range, depending on how strict your examiner would be about some of those grammatical or language use mistakes. Definitely the more you spoke, Juan, the better you got. So you started at about a band 6.5, but then by the time you finished your answer, you were at a band 8.5. So I would kind of take the middle of the two and give you the 7.5. So for sure, Juan, when you do decide to sit the IELTS exam, go early, speak English the whole day before, the whole morning before your exam, so that you're using your best English. Because I can tell that as soon as you have the chance to speak a little bit, your English just gets better and better and better with each sentence. Okay, so really keep that in mind. All right.
Yeah, thanks.
Um,
I see.
yeah,
I
go
see
ahead.
my connection is having some problems. Maybe it has some of it has to do with
With the
that. I don't
connection,
know.
yeah, it could be. Yeah, it's probably part of it. Again, your content was really great though. So because you slowed down, you came up with some really good examples where you're like, yo, I can see my friends buying souvenirs when they go travel, so they're spending a lot of money. And then you gave a really good answer for the negatives, how crime is a big deal because tourists are targets for criminals. And then you gave the example of Monte Picchu, which was a really good one of how tourists destroy the history of places in some sense. So the content was outstanding. So that's what you want to do, is focus on that speed with good content, and then of course good language. Okay, Juan?
Okay.
All right, nicely done. Okay,
Okay.
nicely done. Keep up
Thank
the
you
good
again.
work, and I appreciate how you keep coming back and volunteering. I do see you, Juan. Okay.
You're welcome.
All right, Juan, have an awesome rest of the day. Bye for now. All right, I think Juan hung up first. Juan did a great job, Elizabeth. Absolutely. Okay. Who have we not spoken to in quite some time? I know that Dewey comes back every now and then, which is great. Kevin, we haven't spoken to in a long time. Kevin, are you ready? You're not at the bottom of the list. You're not at the bottom of the list, Kevin. You are kind of in the middle of the list. Are you ready? I think this is Kevin from Taiwan. Kevin, are you ready? If yes, let me know. Okay.
Hello.
Hi, Kevin. Long time no speak. How are you?
Thank you so much, Mr. Adrian, for asking. I would say, compared to the last time we talked, there has been both some good and some bad news. But overall, I'm doing great. Great. Thank you for asking.
I'm happy to hear it. Give me the good news, Kevin. What's the good news?
So I've just won a full scholarship to study in the UK, and now we'll be studying there next year in June.
Wow, that's some really good news. Okay, I don't even want to hear the bad news because it must have been pretty bad if that counterbalanced.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry that the bad news happened, but I'm really happy about the good news, right? We have to kind of deal with the negatives and focus on the positives. It's the key to a happy life. You want a full scholarship. That's fantastic. Congratulations. Double thumbs up, Kevin.
Thank you so much.
And what's the study? I know you were in education, but can you tell me exactly what the scholarship is? So which school, what major?
So I will be doing a degree in again. It will be in teaching English,
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Adrian. Uh, I change my area of study a little bit, but I actually feel quite privileged because, again, usually in Vietnam, opportunities for this area um, they don't really abound. So again, I just feel like I was really lucky.
Well, I mean, we use the word luck, but I can definitely tell you that there was a lot of hard work involved on your end and a lot of practice. So good for you, Kevin. I strongly believe that you're very deserving of this opportunity, and I hope you make the most of it. Whereabouts in the UK?
I will be studying in Northern Ireland. The northern part is called um, Ulster, at the University of Ulster. It has a campus in London, so the good news is that I will be going on a trip there.
Great. That's a great adventure. Wow, that's going to be amazing. You're going to be exposed to a lot of culture and language. So good. Okay,
Thank you.
Kevin, let's jump into a few questions. I'm really happy to hear all of that news, Kevin. That's really exciting. All right, let's jump into a few questions about cities, city tourism. Are you ready?
Yes, yes, I am.
Okay, how important is tourism and travel for the economy of cities?
I think tourism activities can help cities like prosper, so they can be as important as city major income source, especially with those that are tourist hotspots. Like, if I'm not mistaken, all economic activities in some cities in Thailand known as tourist paradises are connected to traveling and holiday making.
Some people say that modern cities are losing their cultural heritage due to globalization. To what extent do you agree or disagree with this statement?
I don't think modern cities are experiencing cultural homogeneity due to globalization. The reason is that government in most of those countries have launched educational campaigns that showed people the dire consequences of this phenomenon, like the loss of national identity. Then the result is that people have become wary of cultural losses and have taken active steps to prevent them, like wearing traditional clothes on a national holiday.
Okay, I'm going to stop there and give you some feedback. All right, Kevin. Yeah, challenging questions for sure. Your answers for those two, I would say roughly a band 8. Okay. In some aspects 7.5, in some aspects 8. I have heard you give stronger answers in the past. But sometimes it's a hit and a miss. So what's always important, and you know this as an English teacher and a teacher in training, as we always are, that we have to reflect, feedback, reflecting, correcting, resaying. That's what's important. So that's what you want to do. Let me just give you some corrections here so you can have a bit of a better idea of what's going on. I asked you about the importance of tourism travel for the economies of cities. Now, of course, to all of our viewers, one advantage of doing the speaking in these classes is that you see the questions, right? Keep in mind, everybody, that in the real IELTS exam, you don't see questions, okay? Only the examiner sees these questions, right? So you don't have a chance to read them, and that's a big difference, right? Just hearing the question. And Kevin, you also probably noticed that I'm not asking you these questions like an ESL teacher. So I'm not like, how important are tourism and travel for the economies of cities? So I'm not, that's like an ESL teacher, right? With a lot of extra emphasis, stress, and so on, right?
Yes.
IELTS exam is not an ESL exam, first and foremost. It's very important to keep that in mind. Also, part 3 especially is not going to cater to any lower level of English. So you probably noticed that, he's really using kind of like this natural, he's just being himself. It's the same way I would ask the question from anyone, right? So how important is tourism for travel and economies of cities? I might skip a word, I might contract a word here, and I'm just naturally asking you, right? You handled that quite well. And then you said, I think tourism activities can help cities prosper. It was okay English, but a little bit unnatural. I think tourism activities can help cities prosper, it would probably be tourist activities. Um, Instead of the tourist activities, let's go for a band 9 collocation here, Kevin. The income that cities, uh, states, provinces, countries get from various sources are generally referred to as what? Starts with an I. So the fishing, the lumber, the mining, the banking, and it starts with an I. The next word. What is it?
Interest, is that the
Not
word?
interest in the
Income?
in the in the
I'm sorry, sir. I'm a little bit
in
fluent.
you'll know it. I know you know it. That's what I'm trying to prompt you. Industry, right?
Ah,
It's the
mhm,
tourism industry, right? So generally when we're talking about these concepts in terms of a city or a country, we talk about it in this concept of an industry, right? So here I would eventually expect a band 8, 9 level candidate to say, I think the tourism industry can help cities prosper, right? That would be the very accurate way to express this. So just repeat after me, Kevin. I think the tourism industry can help cities prosper, and it can be a major source of income,
I think the tourism industry can help cities prosper, and it could be a major source of income.
right? So concise, specific, direct, exact. That's your band 9, right? Especially for tourist hotspots like Phuket in Thailand.
Especially like tourist hotspots, like Phuket in Thailand.
Yeah.
Are you waiting for more, sir?
Okay. No, I'm just typing it up. So I'm also, of course, hoping that other viewers are also repeating us and paying attention to this. So see what I did. You have good language. You have great vocabulary, Kevin. Your vocabulary is through the roof. It's outstanding. Just make sure that you're um, controlling that use of that broad range of vocabulary so that you're concise, right? Remember, native speakers would also score around a band 7.58 on the IELTS exam. Many of them have, like you, a broad range of vocabulary. Now it's for those high band scores, that 8 to 9, it's all about controlling that vocabulary. And when you are going to do your courses in your schooling in the UK, that will be a big focus of your studies. You're going to remember what I'm saying right now. It's controlling the way you use all of this awesome vocabulary. Okay?
Absolutely, sir. I'll keep it on top of my mind.
All right. Kevin, come back again. Okay, I want to hear your adventure as it progresses. So, when are you leaving? When are you going to?
Um, yes, I'll board my flight in June next year. So it would still be, again, there will still be quite a long time until then. So I plan to sit the IELTS test again.
Mm-hmm. Okay, okay. So lots and lots of practice, right? So June 2024, you've got lots of time. Just make sure that every single day you're challenging yourself, you're challenging your English, and you're constantly getting feedback on what is working, what needs to be changed, okay?
Yes, thank you so much for your kind words and your support, sir.
Absolutely, Kevin. We'll talk again. Bye for now.
Bye bye, sir.
All right, that was Kevin from Vietnam. Really good, right, Kevin? If some of you have been members for a long time, you know Kevin. He is outstanding and just puts in a great, great effort. And of course, we can see that's being rewarded by society with a full scholarship to a school in the UK and Northern Ireland. Ayush, you are at the bottom of the list and you're a premium student. Ayush, are you ready? I think you're a new premium student. If I'm not mistaken, Ayush, you just signed up. And I'm not sure if we've spoken. Chami says that was amazing. Really good. Yeah, absolutely, Chami. Okay, Ayush. Hi, Ayush.
Hi again. What's up?
The sky, Ayush. The sky is up. No, I'm good. Thank you. How are you? What's up with you? Can you hear me, Ayush?
Hello.
Ah, I can hear
Yeah,
you. Yeah.
I'm so sorry. Actually, I have opened the other browser as well.
Okay,
So
good.
the voice was echoing. Now it's perfectly fine.
Yeah, you have to just mute YouTube. So you can keep YouTube going. You just have to mute it. You have to make sure that it's muted. All right, Ayush. This is our first time talking, right?
Right.
Right.
Yes.
And if I'm not
Right.
mistaken, you just joined the premium version of the course in the last 1 or 2 days. Am I correct in that?
Yeah, I have actually enrolled today only because on 10th November I will going to take exam. So I need to practice a lot in all the four sections,
Yeah.
and I'm really very excited with practicing with you.
Yeah.
So please help me to polish my
I'm here.
skills.
I'm here, Ayush. I'm
Yeah.
going to help you polish. November 10th, you said. That's good. So you got, a solid 2 months, right? And a lot can happen in 2 months when you give good effort and you're using good materials. So good for you. It was a smart decision to join the premium course now and to get into these live classes. Very smart, Ayush. All right, well, let's do it. Let's practice a bit. So I'm going to ask you a couple of questions. Give me some full sentence answers. Think about the explanations, examples, and then I will give you feedback. Are you ready, Ayush?
Um, Before proceeding further,
Mm-hmm.
can I open the YouTube video because I just closed the videos, so I
Well, it
can't.
depends. Do you want to make it feel like the real exam? Because in the real exam, you don't see the questions. So if you want to make it
Okay,
feel like the real exam, then keep it closed if you feel like you can do it. If you're having trouble, then you can open it for the next one. Do you want to try one without?
yeah, sure.
Yeah,
I will
try one without.
perfectly fine
Okay?
with that.
That's
Yes.
that's more like the real exam. Okay, here we go. So, how have technological advancements like the internet and mobile apps changed the way that we explore new cities?
So technological advancement has been played majorly very positive role in everyone's day life because we can search like any anything through the app, and we can basically search any places to which I'm so sorry, I'm basically trained because I'm not good with these sort of questions, but I will certainly going to try. So coming back to the question, yeah, so technological advancement has been very good uh, for our. I'm so sorry, Adrian. I'm, I need to practice a bit more.
Okay,
And
what future trends do you foresee in the way people will travel to and experience cities?
maybe uh, train and bus. I'm so sorry. Can you please rephrase the question?
What future trends do you foresee in the way people will travel to and experience cities?
Mm, so, so that's mean public transport. You need to say,
Sure.
yeah. So yeah, public transport can play a major role in that particular uh, segment, especially like trains and cars and aeroplane as well. So yeah,
Okay. Good. All right, Ayush, I've got some good news and some bad news for you. Good news, I think you have good English. Bad news, I don't think you're showing me your good English. Okay. Um, I think you probably have like a band 775 English at least. I can of course not give you that. I can only give you like a band 5.5 or a 6 because you're not showing me fluency. However, I know you're way better, so you're very smart to start practicing now. That was very clever, and see, you understood the questions. You completely understand both of these questions without seeing them. So just by hearing them, just by me asking you and not seeing YouTube, you clearly understood what I was asking you. The other good strategy that you did, Ayush, is that you expressed yourself. So you said, I'm so sorry because I'm not good with this sort of question. So coming back to the question, it was very natural. That's why I know that you have band 7, 8 level English, because you sounded very natural when you were just expressing yourself and you said, I'm so sorry, I'm not good with these kinds of questions, and coming back to the question. And I could tell that that was just a really normal part of your English conversation, and that was good. You can do that in the IELTS. So if you get lost, if you go off track, you can say, so coming back to the question. I don't use that one myself as often, but that's a really good expression to keep in mind for the IELTS. So thank you for sharing that with everybody, Ayush. Okay. A quick tip, don't apologize. So in the real IELTS exam, don't apologize, don't say I'm sorry, don't say, just say I'm going to rephrase that, or let me start that again. Don't say I'm sorry, or just pretend I'm not Adrian, pretend like I'm any examiner, right? Don't apologize, just speak. Okay. A big tip for you, focus on yourself and just picture what you're doing, okay? So here the question is, how have technological advancements like the internet, mobile apps changed the way we explore cities? And you actually said, so technological advancement has been very good. Okay. When you think about visiting a city and technology, the internet and your mobile phone app, what kind of an app do you see yourself using, Ayush? What do you use? We all do it. I know you do it too.
Yeah, they're like Google Maps, and
Yeah,
they're
exactly. Just say that. So Google Maps help people navigate around the city, find restaurants and museums. I just used Google Maps yesterday when I visited this place, right? So that would be it. Try it again. Okay, try it one more time. How have technological advancements like the internet and mobile apps changed the way we explore new cities?
okay. So uh, recently, I have been using Google Maps, and it's quite popular amongst the youngsters here where I'm staying. So generally, people open the app and go to different cities when they find a particular, like, cafes, or maybe places where they want to have a awesome time with their family members, or maybe with their friends.
Stop there and just
So,
say, so technology has been very useful for this.
okay, so technological is very useful for this.
So technology has been very useful for this.
So technology has been very useful for this.
Perfect. Now you're at like a 758, no problem. Okay. So that's what you want to do. Just put yourself in the situation. These questions are for everybody. Remember that. So whether you're a man in India or whether you're a girl in Brazil, these questions, the answers are going to be kind of similar, right? So keep that in mind. You just have to put yourself in the situation. Does that make sense, Ayush?
Yes, actually, I have also joined like other online platforms for having a conversation practice.
Good.
But on that platform, I'm not basically focusing on the interview style question. So from today onwards, I will certainly going to focus on that part. And
Mm-hmm.
as you can see that apart from like interview questions, I am already like in my natural um, in the flow, so I can like talk like that. So it's like that.
Good. Ayush, you're taking the right steps. Keep doing that. The important point is do it every day as much as you can, and don't just wait for these live classes. But you can see like there's lots of people in here, Chayani, Dewey, Ahmed, Fuang. Also ping them. So when you're in this interface, send another person a ping and say, hey, do you have 5 minutes or 10 minutes to ask each other some questions, right? So you have to be a little bit brave and just interact with people from different parts of the world, and that will make you feel really comfortable with your examiner as well. Okay.
So thank you so much, Adrian, for a very awesome feedback,
You're very
and I will
welcome.
certainly going to, yeah,
Thank you.
keep like that. Yeah.
Thank you, Ayush, and thank you for being a premium student. Bye, Ayush. Have a great day.
Okay. Bye.
All right, that was Ayush. What a great guy. And he's smart. Bought the course, came to the live class, joined the chat, volunteered. That's exactly what needs to happen. Students, I know we have about 10 minutes left. I'm rushing off to a video shoot. We're doing a really cool video shoot today. So I see that there are lots of you in here. And Dewey, I really wanted to get to you as well today. Chayani, the same thing. I know we haven't spoken in a bit, but I do hope that you come back soon and talk to each other. I'm going to wrap it up there for today, but you don't have to. You can talk to each other and practice those questions that you just saw or similar questions from the website. To become a part of our great community of students, click the big red button to join our premium IELTS package. It's a one-time payment. You can also get it through Shopify now on the YouTube channel. So, well, maybe not in every country, but in many countries. So check that out. Students, next week I will be back with more IELTS. We will have speaking part 1 starting up on the 14th, I believe. And then we will have task 1 writing, reading, and more speaking part 2, part 3. So keep practicing, keep working with each other. General IELTS students, gieltshelp.com. Check out the apps, Academic IELTS Help, General IELTS Help. And have an awesome rest of your weekend. I'm Adrian. I'm signing out from beautiful Victoria for now. And I hope to see you next week. Much love, everybody. Bye.